Hare Krishna everyone. Thank you very much for joining. Let's do Radha Madhav. Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Jai Giravardhari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Jai Giravardhari Shodanandana Raj Jana Ranjana Shodanandana Raj Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Agyantimirhandasya Gyan Anjana Shalakya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Nama Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvetam Savadutam Krishna Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vichakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kant Radha Kant Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pran Mami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatu Brihascha Kirpa Sindhavevacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Nama Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Parcharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Dishatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasti Go Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Mukham Kroti Vachalam Pangam Langyate Grim Yat Kirpataham Vandeshi Gurundin Taranam Paramananda Matam Shichaneshram Hariam Tassat Narayan Namaskritya Naram Cheva Naruttamam Devim Sasvit Vyasam Tato Jemaduriyat Nasta Presha Abdreshu Nittabhagsaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nishtaki. Okay. Hare Krishna. So last time we were discussing, there was some debate whether Maharaj Parikshit went to the Ganges, the Ganga river, to meditate, or to Yamuna. I mean, he was in Delhi, so the nearest river would be Yamuna. although it's mentioned as Ganga. But Srila Prabhupada says that let's not worry about the details, look at the principle. We can debate that at some other time. And it's mentioned that even if he was Yamuna, Yamuna is 100 times more sanctified than even Ganga, because Lord Krishna's feet have touched it. When he was born and Vasudev was taking him to Gokul. Yeah. Okay, Prabhu, I'll share that in a minute. So he was saying that Krishna's feet touch the Ganga river, it's rather the Yamuna river, so it's very much sanctified, and he had his pastimes in the Yamuna as well. And now also we were talking about how the sages, they came from all directions. They heard Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Well, they knew because they had the vision that Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is going to be spoken, so they all come from all directions. Also because he was Maharaj Parikshit, and he was the emperor, so many reasons, but the main reason was they wanted to hear Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. They all came to listen. And Maharaj Parikshit, he was cursed, as we know, by Shringi, but it became a boon with mercy of the Lord to his surrendered devotees. So if you're surrendered, even the curses become boons. That was the point. So we should always surrender to the Lord. All the reversals in our life actually will be beneficial for us. And from our side, we shouldn't miss the opportunity to take advantage of the reversals. The reversals can be used as an opportunity always. And there's also about how do we get the piety to come to Krishna consciousness? We didn't have the piety. Srila Prabhupada, he gave us the piety, he gave us the process, he gave us the knowledge, he given us everything. Now it's up to us to work on that. So, yeah, and we were also saying that about the Lord Krishna, the powerful Mahamantra, the name, that Vishnu Sahasranama, 1,000 names of Vishnu equals one name of Ram, and 3 names of Ram equals one name of Krishna. So 3,000 names of Vishnu equals one name of Krishna. So this is how powerful the Mahamantra is that we speak, Lord Krishna's name, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And we also use Ram as well, it's not a problem. So it's not necessarily about, how powerful, any comparisons here. It's a transcendental vibration that we are chanting. Okay, right, I'll share now. Thank you so much. And we are on verse 9, I believe, and 10 are together. So, Aturi Vashisthas Chavanaha Shardavan Arishtanamir Brigur Aninkrischa Prashro Gadi Suto Ram Otathya Indra Pramedad Ma Vaho Medathir Devala Aristachano Bharadvajo Gotama Pipala Taha Maitriya Oravaha Kavasha Kumbayonir Daipayano Bhagwan Naradascha. So all these rishis are there. Atri to Narada, all names of different saintly personalities who arrived there from different parts of the universe. Different parts, that's how quickly they could travel, speed of mind. From different parts of the universe, they arrived, great sage like Atri, Chyavan, Shardavan, Ishtanemi, Brigu, Vishist, Prashar, Vishwamitra, Angira, Parushuram, Uttatya, Indra Pramad, Idma Vahu, Mehdatiti, Devala, Arishthena, Bharadvaj, Gotam, Piplad, Maitriya, Orav, Kavash, Kumbhayoni, Daipana, and the great personality Narad. So all these personalities probably already knew the time and place where this is going to take place. So they were all mentally they were prepared, ready to go. They already had all the information that this is going to happen, and they would make their way to this venue. So Chyavan, a great sage and one of the sons of Bhrigu Muni, he was born prematurely when his pregnant mother was kidnapped. Chyavan is one of the 6 sons of his father, of Bhrigu Muni. And Bhrigu, when Brahmaji was performing a great sacrifice on behalf of Varuna, Maharishi Bhrigu was born from the sacrificial fire. This is how powerful these rishis are. He was a great sage, and his very dear wife was Puloma. He could travel in space like Durvasa, Narada and others, and he used to visit all the planets of the universe. Before the battle of Kurukshetra, he tried to stop the battle. Sometimes he instructed Bharatvaja Muni about astronomical evolution, and is the author of the great Bhrigu Samhita, the great astrological calculation. He explained how air, fire, water and earth are generated from ether. He explained how the air in the stomach works and regulates the intestines. As a great philosopher, he logically established the eternity of the living entity, the Mahabharata. He was also a great anthropologist, and the theory of evolution was long ago explained by him already. He was a scientific propounder of the 4 divisions and orders of human society known as the Varnashram institution. He converted the Kshatriya king Vyatya into a Brahman. So these are, see, they can all travel, they have the knowledge, they have the vision. And then we have so Vishishta, I think we already discussed in chapter 9. And then Prasha Muni, he is the grandson of Vishishta Muni and father of Vyasadeva. He is the son of Maharishi Shakti. And his mother's name was Adrishyati. He was in the womb of his mother when she was only 12 years old. And from within the womb of his mother, he learned the Vedas. His father was killed by a demon. And Kalmashpad, and to avenge this, he wanted to annihilate the whole world. He was restrained. He, however, by his grandfather Vishishta, he then performed a Rakshas killing yajna, but Maharishi Pulastya restrained him. He begot Vyasadeva, being attracted by Satyavati, who was to become the wife of Maharaj Shantanu later on. By the blessings of Prashar, Satyavati became fragrant for miles. He was present also during the time of Bhisham's death. He was a spiritual master of Maharaj Janak and a great devotee of Lord Shiva. He is the author of many Vedic scriptures and sociological directions. So the point of explaining all these great personalities is that they all came to hear Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So how great is Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam? They all came so quickly, so how powerful they were that they arrived at an instant. And still, having said that, still the young boy, 16-year-old Shukdev Goswami, who got the opportunity to speak Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, to recite it. So Gadi Sutta or Vishwamitra, a great sage of austerity and mystic power. He is famous as Gadi Sutta because his father was Gadi, a powerful king of the province of Kanya Kubaj, part of Uttar Pradesh. Although he was a Kshatriya by birth, he became Brahman in the very same body by the power of his spiritual achievements. So he was Kshatriya, but he behaved like a Brahman. He did a lot of austerity, a lot of meditation. And he was criticized for doing that. The Brahmins will be criticized for acting like Kshatriyas, and Kshatriyas will be criticized for acting like Brahmins. He picked a quarrel with Vishishta Muni when he was a Kshatriya king and performed a great sacrifice in cooperation with Matanga Muni, and thus was able to vanquish the sons of Vishishta. He became a great yogi, and yet he failed to check his senses and thus obliged to become the father of Shakuntala, the beauty queen of the world history. Once, when he was a Kshatriya king, he visited the hermitage of Vishishta Muni and he was given a royal reception. Vishwamitra wanted from Vishishta a cow named Nandini, and the Muni refused to deliver it. Vishwamitra stole the cow, and thus there was a quarrel between the sage and the king. Vishwamitra was defeated by the spiritual strength of Vashishta, and thus the king decided to become a Brahmin. So it was more his pride was hurt. Before becoming a Brahmin, he underwent severe austerity on the bank of the Kaushik river. He was also one who tried to stop the Kurukshetra war. But this kind of austerity, as we're saying, is really unauthorized because it's done for own personal reasons. It's, Hiranyakashipu and Ravan, they all did austerity for their own, benefit, for their own agenda. Angira, he was one of the 6 mental sons of Brahma and the father of Brahaspati, the great learned priest of the demigods in the heavenly planets. He was born of the semen of Brahmaji, given in a cinder of fire. Uttatya and Samvart are his sons. It is said that he is still performing austerity and chanting the holy name of the Lord at a place known as Alokanand on the banks of the Ganges. And Prashamani we have discussed as well. Uttatya, one of the 3 sons of Maharishi Angira, he was the spiritual master of Maharaj Mandata. He married Bhadra, the daughter of Sommoon. Varuna kidnapped his wife Bhadra, and to retaliate the offense of the god of water, he drank all the water of the world. Medatithi, an old sage of yore and assembly member of the heavenly king Indradev. His son was Kanvamuni, who brought up Shakuntala in the forest. He was promoted to the heavenly planet by strictly following the principles of retired life, which is Vamprastha. And Devala, a great authority like Nad Muni and Vyasadev, his good name is on the list of authorities mentioned in the Bhagavad-Gita. When Arjun acknowledged Lord Krishna as the Supreme Person of Godhead, he met Maharaj Yudhishthira after the battle of Kurukshetra, and he was the elder brother of Domya, the priest of the Pandava family. Like the Kshatriya, he also allowed his daughter to select her own husband in Swambar meeting, and at Dasamani all the best sons of rishis were invited. According to some, he is not Asita Devala. Okay. So Bharatavad also mentioned. Bharatavad. Gautam, one of the 7 great rishis of the universe, Saptrishis. Shardavan, Gautam was one of his sons. Persons in the Gautam Gotra dynasty today are either his family descendants or his disciplic succession. So it's like that. Sometimes they say Nityananda Ram's descendants of Nityananda Ram. They could also be in the disciplic succession of Nityananda Ram. The Brahmanas who profess Gautam Gotra are generally family descendants, and the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas who profess Gautam Gotra are all in the line of his disciplic succession. He was the husband of the famous Ahalya, who turned into stone when Indradev, the king of heaven, molested her. Ahalya was delivered by Lord Ramchandra. Gautam was the grandfather of Kirpacharya, one of the heroes of the battle of Kurukshetra. So, king of heaven molested. If the king of heaven is doing these things, what chance have the today's society got, So Maitreya, a great rishi of yore, he was a spiritual master of Vidur and a great religious authority. He advised Dhritarashtra to keep good relations with the Pandavas. Duryodhana disagreed and thus was cursed by him. He met Vyasadev and had religious discourses with him. So this is the background of all the rishis that had arrived at the time when Maharaj Parikshit was there. And see if there's anything to add. So this is 10. Okay. So 9 and 10. So he says that even if Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam was not recited, Maharaj would have still gone back to Godhead due to even one exalted devotee being present, and there were so many present. So this is an interesting statement here, that just just by the presence of all these great rishis, Maharaj Parikshit would have gone back, because he had the association of these exalted devotees of the sages. So even if he didn't perfect his hearing by listening to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam for 7 days, he would have still gone back to Godhead just by the association of these people. So this is a very interesting reason for. So this is another reason why there's a big mention of the list of people who had arrived that time. Okay, 11. Anya cha dev rishi brahma rishi varya raj rishi varya arundayascha dhanarishya paravan sametan abhya archa raja shirsa babande. So anya, many others, cha also, dev rishis, saintly demigods, brahma rishi, saintly brahmans, variha, topmost, raj rishi variha is topmost saintly kings, aruna adeha, a special rank of Rajrishis, Cha and Nana, many others, Arashya Paravaran, chief amongst the dynasties of the sages, Sametan, assembled together, Abhi Arichya, by worshipping, Raja, the emperor, Shirsa, bowed his head to the ground, Vande, welcomed. There were also many other saintly demigods, kings, and special royal orders called Arunadyas, a special rank of Rajrishis, from different dynasties of sages. When they all assembled together to meet the Emperor Parikshit, he received them properly and bowed his head to the ground. So this is so amazing that instead of worrying about himself, what's going to happen to him, people will be like in tears and hugging, that I'm about to die. But he was receiving them properly, with all the etiquettes, and bowing his head to the ground to greet them. This is the king, the emperor himself. So amazing. So the system bowing the head to the ground to show respect to superiors is an excellent etiquette, which obliges the honored guest deep into the heart. Even the first-grade offender is excused simply by this process. And Maharaj Parikshit, although honored by all the rishis and kings, welcomed all the big men in that humble etiquette in order to be excused from any offences. Generally, at the last stage of one's life, this humble method is adopted by every sensible man in order to be excused before departure. So they ask for forgiveness. In this way, Maharaj Parikshit implored everyone's goodwill for going back home, back to God. Now this is another reason why he would go back to Godhead, because he asked to be forgiven for his sins from all these Maharishis, and that qualified him for going back to Godhead. Amazing. So showing respect is a way of getting blessings. So if we are touching somebody's feet or bowing to them, we just want the blessings. Right? Maharaj wasn't thinking that they have come to see me. Rather, he was fortunate to have the association. So he's thinking, he's not saying, oh, they've come to see me, so I must be very important, or I am very important. But he was thinking, how fortunate I am to have received the association. Sukho pavistesha vatha teshu bhuya krita pranama sva chikrishitam yat vignapyam as vivikta cheta upastito ogre bhagarita panhi. So sukha, happily, upa vishitishu, all sitting down, at, thereupon, teshu, onto them, the visitors, bhuya, again, krit pranamaha, having offered obeisances, swaha, his own, chikrishitam, decision of fasting, yat, who, vigyapayam, as submitted, vivikta chetaha, one whose mind is detached from worldly affairs, upastitha, being present, agre, before them, abhigrita panhi, humbly with folded hands. So after all the rishis and others had seated themselves comfortably. The king, humbly standing before them with folded hands, told them of his decision to fast until death. So now that everybody's gathered, he's explained what's happened, although they already know, and also what he has decided, consequence of that. So although the king had already decided to fast until death on the bank of the Ganges, he humbly expressed his decision to elicit the opinions of the great authorities present there. Any important decision, however firmly fixed, should be confirmed by some authority that makes the matter perfect. This means that the monarchs who ruled the earth in those days were not irresponsible dictators. So he's checking. So although the king had already decided to fast, he had already made that decision. He humbly expressed his decision to elicit the opinions. He still wanted a second opinion on this. Although he was pretty certain that that's the right thing to do, he just still sought their opinion because he felt that they know better and they will give the right decision, and that makes the matter perfect. This means that the monarchs who ruled the earth in those days were not irresponsible dictators. They scrupulously followed the authoritative decision of the saints and sages in terms of Vedic injunction. I mean, they would take advice from the sages. They will always have sage advisors by their side to make any important decision. Maharaj Parikshit, as a perfect king, followed the principles by consulting the authorities even up to the last days of his life. It's not like he just completely lost his way, lost the plot, as we say. He was still in control, and he was still doing the needful as it required from a king. So, as I was saying last week, that some of the sages may advise him to go back to the kingdom and continue serving to his last breath. But he's already doing that. He's still behaving as like a perfect king, even here. He's not now that I have given up everything, I don't need to follow any etiquettes. You would think that I have given up my position, I have given up my wealth and everything. I'm just like a mendicant now who's fasting. So I have no more responsibilities, not for the family, not for the sages, not for anyone. I don't have to follow any kind of etiquette. But Maharaj, even though he's given up everything, he's renounced everything, but he has not renounced his etiquettes. He's still kept his etiquettes. This is wonderful. And 12, so we should be open to advice, especially in spirituality. So he's still open to advice, and he wants a second opinion. So that's the right thing to do. And because he was open to advice, he got wonderful advice in the end, and we know all the results of that. So I think we can stop here and maybe discuss this. This is only a short chapter, and I was trying to so this Wednesday today, so in 2 weeks time we can have the overview as well on this, and there'll be end of Canto 1, so that's the last chapter, and that's end of Canto 1, and so yeah, in 2 weeks time on the 20th of May we'll have the overview to this. So thank you so much. We'll stop sharing. And Pundikaksh Prabhu, what do you think?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much. This helps us to remember another pastime again, when Bhishma Dev was on the bed of arrows,
Sure.
and all the sages around him, and even Bhishma Dev, who lost all his blood entirely from his body, but still he was reciprocating to all the sages around him. He was receiving Krishna so well, so nicely, and he was doing all etiquettes, even on the bed of lying on the bed of arrows. And even though this, like Parishit Maharaj, is not directly related to Bhishma Deva as such, but he's a son of another great devotee, Abhimanyu, who is trained by Krishna himself, and he's coming from the lineage of Arjuna. So he is showing his greatness. And the last point you mentioned, like these kings are very responsible. They always used to consult the sages even before making any decision. And Parishad Maharaj is showing that even at the end of the life also, he is following the same etiquette, um, showing as a great example. And mentioning of many sages here in these purports, and these sages set an example from their life to all of us. Like Vishwamitra um, had a fight with Vasishtha Muni. He tried to become um, a Brahmana, whereas he was a Kshatriya. So in Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada mentioned there are two people who did opposite to their varna. One is Vasishtha Muni, and another is Dronacharya. Dronacharya was again um, a Brahmana. I mean, he's a Brahmana, but he became a Kshatriya. Whereas Vishwamitra was a king, but he became a Brahmana just to defeat Vasishtha Muni. But finally, he understands that it's only devotional service that is required. And even though he constructed uh, heaven for what is that name? Trishankaswarg. But still, he could understand that it's only devotional service that is actually required. And he became a great devotee of Lord. And Devala, I heard his name only in the Bhagavad Gita when Arjuna says, I heard this from Asita, Devala, and great sages, confirming that he is giving the bona fide knowledge. He's speaking something bona fide because all these great sages have confirmed that you are the Supreme Lord. So that was very nice. That's all, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Chapter 10, yeah, very nice, Prabhu. Yeah, thank you. Very, very wonderful. Thank you, Prabhu. Kiran Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Yes, Maharaj Parikshit has accepted his realized position. He's accepted that he has to go to the Ganges or to the Yamuna and take his place northwards, facing the North Star, and the way back home. And so he has assembled, he has got to the Yamuna, and without further delays, all the celestial beings, the elevated sages, and the people of highest nobility of the spiritual world were also gathered. No emails, no WhatsApp, no social media. They knew where the main event was, and hence they all assembled. And it begs the question, wow, what is within our dharma that there are gateways in different places, portholes? You can travel on a celestial river. You can have a celestial viman to get you there in an instant. And hence, Maharaj Parikshit, no ordinary individual. He is the one from whom the narration of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is unfolded to the whole of humanity. And its importance is illustrated by the association of great, great souls who have come there. So you can see that nowadays people associate it with each other according to their bank balances. But in those days, you could see people associated because of their spiritual wealth. And that spiritual wealth is something that goes with you rather than your Lamborghini or your bank balance. And hence these people had gathered, and Maharaj Parikshit had accepted what was about to unfold. With grace, he submissively folded his hands and welcomed the assembled guests. He was very dignified, very humble, and very magnanimous. He had renounced everything by now, renounced his kingdom, his throne, and his family. And he had now sought forgiveness for anything he may have done. And the forgiveness from others is a form of seeking blessings that you can now be alleviated of anything bad or sins we may have committed. These blessings and the associations of these people are so powerful that it cannot be overemphasized, because those blessings and that knowledge that we have been in the presence of such elevated souls is what will take us towards the next stage. Hence, so we now are at the perfect setting for the recitation of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. He's fasting until death. He struggled when he came to Shamik Rishi's place. He was thirsty and hungry. He's now prepared to fast. This is the nature of the beautiful Bhagavatam and the Vedas that are presented to us. He sought guidance and opinions even at the very, very end. Such are the Raja Rishis, such are the Maharajas, and thankfully we have a good one at the helm of the ship at the moment. He's getting rid of the gundas, the sinners, and Maharaj Parikshit was no different. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Wonderful. Hina Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna everyone, pranams to you all, and thank you so much. Now, just a few points to add for me. We see here so many great personalities are being explained in terms of the gathering that we're seeing here. To hear the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam being recited by Sukadev Goswami. And as you've nicely outlined as well, Prabhu, this is not a normal gathering. These are not normal personalities. And I think through this, these are very elevated individuals, historical, pious characters within our history, within our tradition. And through this, I think we understand how auspicious and fortunate an opportunity it is to hear the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam from bona fide sources. Even this little gathering that you have that you've set up, Prabhu, in itself, to be able to hear Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam on a weekly basis with devotees, we can't take this for granted. This is amazing. This is very auspicious. And just to add to Parikshit Maharaj's mood, which we've covered off, his mood and his manner as well, it's also very instructive. He's given up food and drink so he could dedicate all his time to being absorbed to listening to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. It's almost got he just has single pointed focus. It's almost everything else is not too important. He's cast away everything else at this, for the rest of his duration, which again shows how we should be listening to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam as well, not to be distracted, to give our full focus and attention during classes. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Okay, Puri Mataji listening only. So we'll go to Ajay, Prabhu.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, so we see Parikshit Maharaj's attitude is what you call the correct attitude. The humility is there. It's not that just for show that he has renounced everything. He actually is very much adopted. No, actually, not once adopted. He has taken on the right behavior fully. It's not just. So sometimes we try to show humility, we might not mean it as such. This is not the case of Krishna Maharaj. He has understood the gravity of the situation. He has fully embraced what he must do. And you see the way he behaves towards the rishis, show them great respect, takes all their opinions into account. And that's important as well, not only because they're obviously great personalities in their own right, because that is a correct etiquette. And on top of that, we tend to assume that the rishis, the ascended persons all have the same opinion as such, in terms of they all come from the same, school, but that's not true. They're different. The Lord is very, the way to understand him is multifarious. While we stick to Shastra, that doesn't, some people prefer in the more personal point of view. Others, they may have their own particular form of the Lord they worship. And so by showing respect to all of them, he pleases everybody. They can all, and then there's a unity built there. I think because if you just take your opinion or listen to others as such, there can be division. But Maharaj Parikshit has shown how everyone can be unified in the worship of the Lord, where even if you don't necessarily 100% agree with each other in terms of how to go about it, ultimately you can agree that we're following Shastra, we are looking to worship the Supreme Lord, how you understand him, then they can be, then we see with Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is then spoken, because there's unity there, there's unifying force of wanting to what's best, not only for Maharaj Parikshit, but best for the welfare of mankind, which would follow, turn to Kali Yuga. I thought it's really, it's a really impressive way of doing things from Maharaj Parikshit. It shows that we have to, that humility is important. It's not just, we always talk about it, the devotional service having humility, but actually this is Maharaj Parikshit showing what is actually real humility, not just the show. And once again, Maharaj Parikshit, great saintly king, just a great example to all of us, and we should just try to learn from him as we can. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. But also it shows that although he had everything, he was the emperor of the world, he never lost his humility. And it's like naturally built in. Where on the other side, you might get somebody like Indra, who is a position like anybody can be Indra. It's that position. Once they get into that position, they just become illusion and start committing mistakes. And it mentioned here that even they approach other people's wives. They think they can do whatever they want, and this seems to be the situation in the world. Put in the position of power, they abuse it, they misuse it. But you see, from the lineage of the Pandavas to the last breath, they keep the etiquette.
Hare Krishna, everyone. My pranams to all of you. Yes, just to envision this sight, that Maharaj Parikshit is there, Shukadev Goswami is going to narrate, and you have sages coming from all over. Whoever could be classed as sage was present in that sabha. That is the beauty of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Even if they were not, many of the sages, it has been mentioned, they were not devotees. They were the promoters of the philosophy of the Gautam Nyaya. So, in a way, anyone who is following anything, they are all inching towards bhakti eventually, from the Gyan to the Sankhya, then slowly they inch away. But they all gave up their differences. They wanted to hear Bhagavatam, and plus, it's also, we can see in a way they were glorifying the great devotee Parikshit, who gave up his empire, renounced everything in a click of a finger, and just came there, and he didn't settle anything. Just imagine if it was the Kali Yuga, people will be saying, let me call my lawyer, let me call my accountant, let me do this, let me do that, let me give these papers to my spouse or my children or my employees and this and that, then I will come. This person, don't even feel like calling him a person, Parikshit Maharaj, he was the emperor of the whole world. He wasn't a king, he was the emperor. He was the emperor of many, many kings around the world. All the kings around the world were under him. So how amazing and gratifying to the bhakti it is. I'm using the word gratifying because people are using the sense gratification in the wrong way, in the material sense. But it should gratify, it should please our bhakti that yes, we are following the right track. This is the thing to do. Parikshit Maharaj has glorified bhakti as, all the great devotees of the Lord have done in this world. But his name has been etched in the foremost devotees of the Lord, because how he had used the reversals for his benefit. And this is how we should be using the reversals to our benefit. And it also highlights the importance of the association. And Srila Prabhupada always told us that follow the four things, the A, B, C and the D. A is the topmost, the association. So even a moment, less than a moment of association can purify the soul, can start your bhakti, and can start and can get rid of all the stubbornness you have in your heart, that you think that no, I'm the greatest, I'm this, I'm that. But when you hear Bhagavatam, when you hear the verses coming from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and when you hear devotees like Parikshit Maharaj, how he paved the way in the bhakti for all of us, it's unparalleled. And I don't think there is going to be any Parikshit that was the Parikshit, and who attracted, he came from, like we know that he came from such a lineage. He had a great grandfather Bhishma, then his great grandfather Arjun, his father Abhimanyu, then him, and he had big sanskars, like we say in the Hindi, the etiquettes, the values which were instilled in him were unparalleled. So if we don't take advantage of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, I think we'll be really, really unfortunate. And this also shows that even when we are hearing a class online, or just by ourselves, on our device, or just even reading, we should take the association of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam in the best of the way we can at that very moment, how it's available to us, how our body allows at that given moment, or how our circumstances are. So giving even 1 minute of our time to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is so important. Just imagine Maharaj Parikshit, the Emperor Parikshit, had the association of the best Krishna had sent in this world, in this material world, at that given time. And then he had such a glorious departure, and he had the etiquette to ask forgiveness. And forgiveness, just asking forgiveness in the sense of just in the world, in the so many words, is not the right thing. This is what happens in this day and age. We see people say sorry, and they say sorry is the hardest word, but they don't mean to ask forgiveness from their heart. Most of the time, a person knows, and when other person is really asking for sorry, or they're just saying it for the sake of it. But Maharaj Parikshit showed us that even in the last moments of our life, Krishna gives us up to our last breath, if we are capable of, if you're not capable of even saying, we can just fold our hands and ask for forgiveness. So really, really big lessons every time, every shloka gives us, and we can't thank enough our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada for writing all these purports for us. And definitely when you read these purports, you can see that Srila Prabhupada was not from this world. He came from somewhere else. He was just sent for us, and definitely our previous acharyas were guiding him, and his pen was writing all these brilliant purports for us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thanks so much. Yeah, it's important that Parikshit Maharaj, we will see how it unfolds and how you suggested that Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam should be heard for the next 7 days. But if Parikshit Maharaj had just fasted till death in the next 7 days, or fasted until death, from the serpent, then he would have, he would have still gone back as is mentioned, but it would have just benefited him. But he, by hearing Bhagavatam, he benefited everyone, even us, like we're hearing today. So he benefited even from his death. He benefited everyone, and let's see how you suggested that that should be done, and that's the lesson for us, that we are also going to die one day, whether whenever, we don't know, right? So we should also benefit others from now till our death, from what we know, what we hear, should help others as well. That's very important. That's one of the tenets of Lord Chaitanya that we are following, the Jiva Daya. We must help other people. Anything we know, we don't have to be great scholars or great sages. Whatever we know, what little we know, that's all we can pass on. We can't do more than that. Whatever little wealth we have in knowledge, share it with others. This wealth increases. Your Lakshmi might reduce by sharing, but this wealth actually increases by sharing. So we have nothing to lose. Thank you so much.
And can I also add that why realizations are important? Because when we hear Bhagavatam and we hear from Prabhupada and we hear from the speakers, they are decoding the lessons, the teachings from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam to us. And sometimes we have seen that those purports and those shlokas, they seem very daunting. Their translation or their purports sometimes don't mean anything to us. And sometimes after hearing from one speaker, what happens is that we start to have a realization which is very, very simple. It's in a very simplified way it comes, and you think that this shows that definitely we are all parts and parcel of Krishna. Krishna has given us something of himself, that we are able to understand this and to say them in a simple manner. So this is what Srila Prabhupada wants us. He says, I want everyone to give classes. You have to interpret them in your own words, not just copy word by word what Srila Prabhupada says or what some other speaker is saying. You contemplate on them and then you bring out them in your own words. This is what Srila Prabhupada wants us to do. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Granthra Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Go
Jai.
Prem
Hare
Nande.
Hari Bo.
Thank you so much, and catch up on Friday morning.
Hare Krishna.
Hare.
Hare Krishna.